We recognize that we are going to be over and over and over impacted by disasters throughout time. So we can figure out from this disaster how to move forward and serve our community better. With this, we chose to look at maternal stress and determine the stress both before the hurricane and after the hurricane. We were able to do this using hair and extracting hair cortisol, which gives us a way of looking back in time almost to be able to figure out what was their stress prior to the hurricane and after. In this, I was a participant observer in my community. I was a participant observer and had lived experience in terms of disaster. And with it, I thought that brought a power as an anthropologist to these stories and this engagement. But one of the things I did not recognize at that point, and one of the pieces of the puzzle that certainly bring forward as I move into rapid research, the participant observer in the future, is the space of considering and recognizing how much of a toll these disasters hold on ourselves and impact us in terms of trying to conduct our own work and trying to conduct our own research, but also serving the communities that our work is meant to support and engage and move forward. The study turned out beautifully, and it helps give us some insight into our community, especially the idea that those who are minoritized within the community on multiple levels in terms of structural inequalities and structural inequities are facing a space that not only are they at a heightened risk once the disaster occurs, but also prior to the disaster. And that their stress, which is the thing that we're looking at, because we know that stress impacts pregnancy outcomes, which means that there's a generational impact of this disaster imprinted on the bodies of the who are going through this and recognizing this, that the people, although whole groups are going to be stressed following a disaster, those who enter in already at a higher stress are more likely to have even a higher stress after disaster hits, putting them at higher risk and being in a way an invisible group that needs care. These are all critically important pieces that we were able to identify and put down policy and indicate through our research, and to help hopefully move policy forward and provide additional structures. But at that same time, again, as participant observers in our own communities, the reality is, although I was going through a disaster, I wasn't pregnant. I'm not a member of a minoritized community. And I'm telling stories about people through their biology, through their physiology. And although I have interviews and I have all sorts of skills and ways of trying to tell their stories and to blend their stories together to talk about what these individuals are facing as pregnant people, we know that we're still undertelling the story. We know that in a short time, in a rapid piece, we're only able to capture what was an appropriate number for research, but not necessarily an appropriate number for telling a community story and moving that forward. So we're glad and we're thankful to our community partners now that have just expanded out in growth. Pleased that we, as we publish this work, move forward with this work, that we also have as our collaborators on those peer-reviewed articles, as well as in other spaces, that our collaborators, our community partners are on there as critical members of our team. But and thinking about this of like, how do we share these stories as we move forward and unfortunately face more disasters in the future, recognize this as a space of place-based trauma where multiple disasters lean up, both in terms of those that are weather-associated and those associated with the deep racist roots of our nation. How do we bring this information together? How do we tell the stories in our best way? But now, after going through this first piece, and hopefully my insights can help you, these were pieces I wish that I knew at that time, but thinking about this of how we can move forward as a community of scholars, a community of researchers to better serve our community and tell the stories of the people that we serve ethically, appropriately, and accurately.